I'm one of the few person that actually sells brush that I'm using and actually developed. So anything we have on our site is because the primary reason I started this business is because I couldn't get those brushes here in the US or this product. And I started importing them for myself because that was the best out there. And then it became a business. But essentially, at first, it was just by necessity. So everything that we have in the store, it's shop tested. I put it through the ringer. It doesn't go on the shelf if it's not something I don't use myself on a daily. And things I don't use, they don't make it into the front door. All right, we ship internationally. Okay, now, the final section, which I call personal. So everybody ask me some personal question. I'll see what I can master on these things. In no particular order. Some are kind of funny as well. But number one, where do you find, oh, by the way, I didn't see Sarah Pringle. She asked for plaster. Sarah.
She had to leave. I saw about a minute ago, but she was here.
I didn't see her thing about question about technique, but it's very specific about plaster. So we'll get on the phone with her. Okay.
Okay.
Where do you find your inspiration when you have artist block? I'll tell you what. I don't have artist block, and the simple reason is, I do not do anything I'm not contracted for. And the word artist for me is becoming a bit of a pet peeve. I don't consider myself an artist. I consider myself, and I am going on a tangent, so brace yourself, kidster. I will always make a, say, oh, you're Picasso, Michelangelo. And I say, no. I'm an artisan. I learned a craft, just like a woodworker. I learned how to plane, cut a board, sim it. That's what I've learned. I learned a trade. Now, there is artistic ability in there, absolutely. There is artistic value, no question. But first and foremost, an artisan. What is an artisan? Is a paid artist. And when I say a contracted artist is what I should say, which is the true nature of artists. This notion that artists are, like artist block where I have to create something. I don't know. I'm not inspired. Where's my muse? Where's my weed? Where's my this? Where's my that? No, up till the 19th century, every single piece of artwork you see in the museum was contracted. The Mona Lisa, which is probably the most iconic painting in the world, was a contract. Somebody asked Leonardo da Vinci, can you paint my wife, or whatever the relation was to the person in question? And this says, yes, and this is how much it will cost you. So this notion that you paint for something else, I think, which is fine. I was no problem with the notion of the artist, creating and then putting in the gallery, hopefully it'd sell. That's fine. It's a different job. We are paid to do something for someone. I don't think I've ever been into a room where someone say, do whatever you want, I'll be back in a month. And if that's the case, I would say I don't know what to do. Actually my creativity comes from the number of fences and boundary that the designer creates. I want a dark room. I want a light room. I want a room, an evening room. I want a room that is glamorous. I want a room that is glossy. I want a room that is classic. The more you give me as a fence, the more I can create, because now I can channel my thinking into a very particular system. It's very difficult. That's why my house has hardly any paint. You see a little bit up here. It's Swedish neoclassical blue, if you're interested. But essentially, I don't have artist blocks because I work with a contract. Now there are some projects, of course, that are difficult where I had recently a guy say I want a garden scene, but it has to be, the flowers should look not like flowers but like a rug, and it should be outside and inside. Like, I mean, every word was contradicting the previous one. So they're challenging for sure, and then I have to really dig deep and make, maybe when, we've done 8 samples so far. We're starting to narrow down the vision more and more each time, and then sometimes, oh, you know what would be great, this and that. So that's how I don't have artist blocks, because I work with a contract. Somebody comes up to me and say, I want a wood grain door. Well, I can pick how I do door. I want some molding. I can choose that and for style thing, but that's. What is your daily schedule like? That's a personal question. I wake up. I don't know where we're going with this. I wake up in the morning, have a
I could probably answer that. You text staff at 5:30 in the morning.
I wake up and I start emailing Denzel what she needs to do when she arrives at 9 o'clock. That's and at 10 p.m. I close my email and send more email for the morning. So I'm a busy guy. It's my nature, like it or not. It's very full, and I'm very active in a lot of way. I pride myself in being a very good artisan, and also a very good professional businessman in a sense, and not with the connotation that's negative of oh, I gotta make money, but I apply my skills in a manner that is efficient and professional. And that's the reason I get 19% of my business through referral and repeat businesses, because the designer gives me a job. They don't come back on the job once. Every night I send them a report. We've done this. Here are the photos. I have a problem that. Do you want to go this option, that option? There's no micromanagement. And I can increase my prices because I know I'm an added value to their vision. And sometimes they don't use me, which is completely fine. And they call me back, oh my God, we have such a horrible headache with this guy and this and that, you got to come back. So that's one of the things I really, but it requires, it's a lot of dedication. I mean, I always, when somebody wants to work for me and they say, oh, what it's like work for you? I'm a pain in the ass. That's what it's like. You're working in a very small kitchen that has very few tables, and I'm a chef that's in control of the kitchen and just about everything that comes in and out of it. So it's not easy. Or I don't know what I'm going with that. Forget about what I said. But anyway, it's because of that, you breathe and sleep decorative thing. I wake up in the morning, say, oh, I had an idea, and I start writing things, and so it's constant. You don't turn it off, in other words. The next question is funny. Maybe my wife wrote that. Do you have any recommendations for finding a good balance between work, fun, family life, playing when you are busy with work? I don't know. That I don't have any recommendation. I'm the least guy to give recommendation on how to have a good balance between work and fun. I guess I have fun in my work, and I hate some part of my work. I try to make time when I can, but I don't know. It's like being a psychologist there. Also, it's not easy, but I guess when you're passionate about something, it just kind of it sort of consumes you in a way that you don't find a huge amount of other or need for other venues, because you're kind of fulfilled in a way. And I'm a sort of a on and off kind of guy. Switches on or off. There's no dimmer. But that's true with most men I know. Women are more complex. Men is up, that's it. So I'm a typical worker in that sense. So I don't have any recommendation because I'm trying to find that balance myself. With that, I'll move on to the next question. I have read your books and always wanted to come to America, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's a job. So we'll send you an email. Yes, but I take apprentice. I take very dedicated people to work with us for a few months, see what they do. But whenever they work, they're always surprised because they go, oh, you're so nice, and when you're teaching, but you're so mean at work. That's the way I am. So there's no, I'm a tough guy, and it's the train is running. You're getting into a train at full speed when you work with us, and there's not a lot of time for teaching. I am based in the UK. Where is it possible to make extensive historical full finish? So we talk about it. This should be in education, but we talk about all the different classes. We will reach out to this person. There's a couple classes in the UK that are a pretty good system. The UK and especially in Northern Europe, like Holland, Denmark, have great apprenticing program. That's my clue. This is what that question about when do you find recommendation for balanced good work. There you go. All right, settle down. Okay, Papa's
I
coming
think
down.
she's telling you you're taking too long.
Yes. Although I have experience. Okay, never mind. How long did it take for you to be earning a living as a decorative painter? Right away, pretty much. I started as a sign painter, as I said. So can't rival that. What is your favorite finish to do? It goes in cycle. Things that I don't do for more than 2 weeks in a row. That's my favorite finish. She's waiting. Okay, Shishu. Papa cannot concentrate. All right, stay back. I'll come with you. Oh my God. All right, sorry. Last but not least, if you were forced to choose just one finish for the rest of your life, what would it be and why? I can't even answer it. Bob. Oh my God. That's my clue. I got to wrap this up anyway. It's been too long. I would not be able to pick what last finish I would ever do. I'm partial to marble because of the variety that it creates. And so if I had to do that, I would probably stick to some marbling because that's the most variety. Are you coming back to Aspen? Who knows? I'd like to. Can I get a free t-shirt? That's some good question right there. Yes, probably. You are a very busy man. What do you wish you had more time for? I wish I had more time just in general to do it. I think the question is going to be from Julian is that for the next 3 months we're going to have more time, so that's going to be your answer there. But generally, I wish I had more time to, I guess, relax. I don't know what even that means, but that's what I would do. How old were you when you moved to the US? Julian, I was 18, Julian. 18, French speaking idiot. Would you ever consider me to bring me as a sub? Maria, sure. We work with a lot of different people, and if the work is coincide with what we do, we work with a lot of different people. Absolutely. Favorite full effect? I guess we talked about it. I mean, I don't have one in particular. Anything that's not too repetitive. I mean, I love to create an ornaments and find even plaster, just find the right technique. But it's more than 3 or 4 days of the same thing, and it's just like, oh my God, when does it end? So my favorite technique is the one that is completed sooner than later. How did you start in the decorative painting work? I talked about it. Any advice you would give young people thinking of entering the trade? The same advice I give people that are in the trade, which is basically to continue constantly to better yourself in as many different techniques as possible. Because it'll be less boring, first of all, because if you do the same thing over and over, you're gonna, it's difficult to have the same enthusiasm. And the more you learn, the more you own, the better the other parts are getting. It's amazing, is because when you start being really good at graining, somehow you get better at marbling, somehow you better at sign painting, somehow you better ornament because you control your brush. It's a lot of muscle memory, and also don't let the brush do the work. Your hand tells the brush what to do. That's a different thing. It's not, you take your feather, that's the thing, you take your feather and your marble, the feather does the thing, maybe it'll be good, maybe you won't. You have no control. So you have to use a tool that you actually are in charge of. If you look back at your last 30 years of a professional life, what are some of the things you would have done differently? I think for me, the biggest thing, the most difficult thing has been employee relation, trying to get that good part of being, attaboy, nice job, and also be, no, this is not right, you gotta redo it. I'm a more of a negative guy in terms of, but everything, it's not just, people. So I see issues, everything. So I think I've learned recently, although Denzel might disagree with that, to be a little more partial to mistakes and try to, not get too agitated. But I think that's the toughest thing for me, is to not, I see a thing and I just call it out, and that's difficult. Some people are like frightened by me. I said it, I move on to the next thing. But it's more difficult. So I think that's would be one of the things I would change from 30 years ago. Somebody saying something. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay. What is your biggest inspiration? I guess we talked about it. It's just work that I've seen everywhere all throughout the world that inspire me, and people, I guess. Oh, that's a good question. Rodney. I saw Rodney somewhere. What self-care here you used to take care of your body? Stretching, yoga, massages, acupuncture, Tylenol, weed, etc. I love it. I do nothing really. Maybe I should, but I spend a fair amount of time on the ladder, up and down, behind the desk. I'm constantly moving, so I don't do a lot. I exercise a bit, not to a point that that's my what I do at most. Guess I'm lucky, in fairly good shape, and I really don't have to do a whole lot. I could lose a few pounds for sure. If this is the question, I'm not sure. But anything that you can do that keeps your health, your body working, that's what you need to do, because essentially, if your tool cannot function, then it you can't just paint with your eyes. You got to use your hands and stuff. So I think as you grow older, you start to be more acute of some of those issues. Is it necessary to separate his craft from purely artistic activity? I talked about it. I mean, yes, my craft there. I have no artistic ability whatsoever. Everything I do is there's a reason. I mean, recently, a year ago, I took a gouache painting, a plein air painting class, but it was really a purpose to see how fast I could paint something on being outdoors. So it was sort of motivated more for technique than the beauty of the gesture, really, and working with a reversible medium. And then I'm going to finish with this one, which I thought was the funniest one. What advice would present Pierre give the 18 or 20-year-old Pierre? What advice? Don't be an asshole to your sister. That would be the first advice. No, it will get better would be my advice. It would say, it will get better. I think, let me think about this. The reason I am what I am now is because I was what I was when I was 18, essentially. So I think, I don't know if I want to change anything, because I may not be who I am now. The fact that I had to somewhat of, come in a new country, not knowing anyone when I was 18, and just make my way through, forced me to be, gradually who I am now. So I think that would, oh yeah, the big advice is say buy a townhouse in Park Slope 30 years ago would have been the advice I would give myself, so I could be resting easy now. But all kidding aside, I think the big thing for me is to that your journey into life, and without being philosophical and struggles and whatever, you know, shape you into who you are essentially. So if you don't have them, if they're, you know, maybe you're become a different person. That's my guess. The second thing is that, you know, if you know now, then what you know now, you could say, oh, you know, I know it'll be better. I know there's improvement in the road ahead. So that would be my advice. All right, that's it. 2 hours and 49 minutes. That's
thank you, everyone, and thank you, Pierre, for answering all those questions.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we'll send you a little email, and thank you for your patience. It was great. It was fun. And we'll probably gonna have another one, but then next time when we do something, we're gonna have an actual topic. So we're focused on one thing and one thing only. But anyway, thank you. By the way, be safe. Don't go outside. Stay home. Take your vitamins and
play with your little daughters.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Close this video. Bye.
From everyone here at Faux Brushes, thanks for tuning in.